Another day, another property. Today I'll be going to a property that's not owned by us, but owned by one of our buy and hold colleagues who've been investing in real estate for the past 10 years. They hired our construction crew to make the house rent ready again because their tenants of 8 years recently moved out and they want to rent it out again to new tenants, and obviously the house will need some work done to make it ready for new tenants again, okay? Please come join me as I drive to this property to show you exactly what we're doing in the scope of the project, okay? Ready to join me? Let's go. Newsflash, we have our own construction team. A construction team designed for investors by investors. I tell you guys, real estate investors have the toughest time getting their own contractors to do the right thing for the right price. Generally, the typical contractors always want to mark up the price so they can maximize their profit, never thinking that they work with someone regularly and get volume properties. They will make a lot more money by working with investors than just regular homeowners, okay? So our construction team's tagline is that our team is designed for real estate investors and not homeowners. So we're actually going to a property right now where one of my colleagues who've been investing in real estate for the last 10 years had a rental property where the tenants vacated recently and they need to fix it up again to make it rent ready for another tenant. We gave them a wonderful estimate for investors at the investors discount, and we're actually going to go to the property right now to check on the status of that property to see how things are going. Most of the scope of work is just paint and carpet, but we're going to take a look to see how it looks and to show you the progress of the project itself, to show you exactly what an experienced investor would do to rent out the property again after a tenant's been living there for the past 8 years or so. Okay, so we're at this property right now where my colleague has owned it for the past 10 years. They had a tenant living in there for about 8 years and moved out recently, and she wants to rent it out again. So we are doing a rental grade renovation with our construction team. So come on into the property. I am going to wear my mask for safety reasons, and we're going to take a look at what they're doing inside to make it rental ready again, okay? So come on in. Okay, so it looks like it's pretty safe here. I'm gonna take off my mask so that way you guys can hear me clear. But I'm in the living room right now. As you can see, the floor is covered in the cloth here, so that way when they paint, it's not going to hit the hardwood floors that's underneath it. The hardwood floor is actually still in great condition, so we're not going to do anything to it whatsoever. We're going to protect it, but the drywall definitely needed help. We're patching up all the holes that were in the wall. They've removed all of the plates from the outlets and also the switches, so that way they didn't paint over the switches and outlet plates, all right? And basically they patch up the holes, they sand it, and then they're gonna prime the walls, and then they're going to paint the walls with an agreeable gray color that's very neutral for the actual rental property, okay? So there's gentlemen here working. They'll be working in the background. They're enjoying their music while they're working. It's good to work and have fun at the same time, right? So I don't have a problem with that as long as they're doing the right things, which they are. And we've been having this crew work with us for many, many years, and we're really excited to have them stay on our team here. So with regards to the ceiling here, because it is a rental property, we're not installing any recessed lights for the owner. We're just going to repaint it with the ceiling white paint to make it look nice again, okay? And note, guys, that the wall is going to be a flat paint, whereas when they paint the baseboards and any kind of wood trims, it's going to be a semi-gloss satin white color, okay? So remember, drywall will always use regular flat paint, and then trims, baseboards, chair rails, and anything like that will be semi-gloss, so that way it pops out and looks shiny. So we're in the kitchen right now, and the kitchen cabinets are in great condition, which is why we wrapped them in plastic to protect them from the painting. The countertop looks in good condition as well, along with the appliances. This needs a couple of pieces of hardware and a thorough cleaning once everything's done, and we're good to go to rent it out to another tenant. So we've already seen the main level, so we're gonna go upstairs right now to take a look at the bedrooms and also the bathrooms. So please come join me, okay? Okay, so we're upstairs, we're now in the master bedroom, okay? Now you notice here, the carpet is not covered in the cloth protecting it. Now, the reason why we're not covering the carpet and protecting it is because we're replacing it anyways. So there's no point in protecting something that we're going to haul away and throw away. So they've already painted the ceilings here. They've patched up the walls, okay? And once they finish painting here, then they're gonna go downstairs and start painting the main level and also the basement. But at the same time, our carpet crew is gonna come up here to haul away the carpet and start putting down new padding and new carpet while they're painting downstairs. This is called good management. See, what we wanna do is plan out how to work things in different crews in parallel instead of in series. What I mean by that is being able to do more than one thing at the same time. And this requires careful project management and careful planning, so that way a project that should take 2 weeks should take only 2 weeks and not overrun on the actual budget and also the time it takes to finish the project. So that's going to be very important in our construction company, is to the ability to manage it properly so that way it finishes quickly. Okay, so we're in the master bathroom now, and most of the stuff in here are in great condition. So that's why there's cloth here covering the floor, there's plastic covering the sink and also parts of the toilet and also the tub. All we're doing here right now is we're painting, and once the paint is done, we're going to finish caulking all around the bathtub, re-caulking the toilet, and also changing the guts of the toilet because it was making some noises and leaking water inside. But the toilet itself is good. Doesn't cost that much to replace the stuff, okay? So this is just what you call being smart as an investor and a contractor. Most contractors will recommend you change the entire toilet so they can charge you extra. But me as an investor, I don't want to spend money where I don't have to, right? We gotta be smart with our money, smart with our investment. So changing out the guts is much cheaper, obviously, than changing out the entire toilet. Now, the toilet itself is only $100, but to remove it and install a new one in and then hauling away the old one is where the major costs are. Whereas if you just change the guts of the hardware inside the toilet, doesn't take much debris, and we just throw it out in the garbage can and we're good to go, okay? So there's not much construction material being thrown away there, which saves us a lot of money as an investor. So as an experienced investor myself, I want to pass on these savings to other investors so that way they can have more volume and be more successful as a fix and flipper and also a buy and hold investor. Okay, so we're done with the top level now. We're gonna go downstairs to the basement to see what that looks like, okay? So come join me. Okay, so we're in the basement right now, and I noticed here that there's a couple of dome lights and also some drop tiles as well. Now, as a rental property, we don't really need to do much. Regular contractors, they're probably going to suggest you change the drywall, but that's probably more appropriate if you're going to sell the property. But as a rental property, not a big deal. Best thing to do is probably paint it to make it look fresh again, and then we're good to go, okay? If you're going to sell the property, you definitely want to install recessed lights, but if you're going to rent it out, one dome light will suffice. No need to spend any more money than that when you're renting it out. Okay, so we're in the utility room right now in the basement here, and there's not much to do here because it's going to be a rental property. All we got to do is clean it up, okay? But let's talk about some of the things that you definitely want to take notice to. First of all, the hot water heater looks pretty new, probably about 5, maybe 6 years old, so it's in great condition. As long as it's working, we'll just leave it just like that. We'll just clean up the top to make it look suitable again. The air handler for the HVAC looks like a heat pump here with no natural gas. This looks fairly new as well, probably in the last 5 years or so. So one of the things that we always do for our investors is to make sure the unit is protected, okay? When we paint upstairs and sand the drywall, a lot of dust is going to be going into the ventilation system and then going into the filter here. We want to make sure that once the construction is done and everything's sanded, we're going to change out the air filter to make sure that the unit is protected and that new air that comes in without the dust can last much longer, because now the air filter is not all used up from all the drywall dust that we've had from the construction, okay? So every time we finish construction, we definitely want to clean the HVAC unit, the air handler, change out the filter, so that way all the construction debris doesn't clog up the system inside, causing a lower lifetime of the actual unit. All right, guys, well, there you have it. There's a construction project for a rental property, okay? Not much to it, especially when there's a lot of things that are still working and not major construction needed. If there were major construction needed, they will let you know about it. But generally, paint and carpet is the scope of this project, and anything that's not working is broken, okay? So there are a couple of doorknobs that were not there on the actual handles of the cabinet doors. That will be changed out. The refrigerator actually was missing a handle. That will be changed out as well. There was a cabinet upstairs in the bathroom that had cracks, we're gonna bond that and repaint it to make it look fresh again. So a lot of small things that we would do to make the rental property ready again for a brand new tenant. So the scope of this project is no more than $9,000, all right? And it's roughly a 2,000 square foot townhouse. And so there's a lot of paint that needs to be done in the ceilings and the walls to get it all done. But for that price, guys, I tell you, our construction company is designed by investors for investors, and we don't overcharge because we make sure that the bottom line of the investor is satisfactory, so that way they can make a decent margin at the end of the day.